Ambrosia is a high-level gourmet cooking recipe that allows you to resurrect a ghost sim. If your sim has had an accident and you want them back, look no further. It has some of the steepest requirements in the game, and prior to the gardening overhaul patch took quite a bit of effort to complete. Now it's possible to skip a large chunk of these steps using seed packets. I feel this is an opportunity to educate about a few topics, so I'm going to approach it from both angles. Ambrosia takes level 10 in regular cooking and gourmet cooking, and at least level 3 fishing. If you're not going to use seed packets and want to graft your way there, it'll also take level 5 gardening. You'll need level 10 gardening if you want to pay to win. In addition to the skill requirements, Ambrosia needs ingredients you cannot simply pay for, unlike other cooking recipes. It takes 1 death flower, 1 angelfish, and 1 potion of youth, which you can purchase in the reward store for 1500 satisfaction. The death flower can take several steps, but does often come in rare seed packets sold at level 10 gardening. I'm not out to milk you for watch time here, so if you only need a place to catch angelfish, we'll get to that first, then move on to acquiring the death flower. In the bottom right neighborhood of Willow Creek, this fishing spot is commonly used to catch angelfish. It's around the river's bend opposite the entrance to Sylvan Glade. Angelfish take level 3 fishing to catch, with no particular bait required. Being focused might help, but you're at the mercy of random numbers for this catch. No one can really say anything to make a catch more likely. Hate to say it, but my sim fished all night and caught 2. Okay, so I already mentioned you can buy death flowers in level 10 gardening's rare seed packets. Let's say you want to try to graft one, since I'm sure some people would prefer that. We will need a checklist and a strategy. Here is our checklist. We want snapdragons and lilies to get an orchid. We then take cutting from that orchid and put it onto pomegranate to get a death flower. The problem is for seasons players, these are all in different seasons. Ignore seasonal talk if you don't have the expansion. Let me tell you, for that reason, this is much easier with a weather machine that can change the seasons. A small greenhouse also helps while you're gathering cuttings. Okay, on to where to find them. Snapdragons can be found in Willow Creek in springtime. Lilies can be found in Sylvan Glade during summertime, as well as Willow Creek's park. You only need 1 to grow and reproduce these. Pomegranate can be acquired fishing in the pond in Sylvan Glade. Alternatively, you can graft apple with cherry, but it makes this have more steps. Just catch them in the pond. These 3 are all you need in order to get orchid and then death flower, but it takes some patience, trust me. On to the grafting bit. The first graft is the hard part. The second is much easier. We'll need to work with snapdragons and lilies at the same time. Snapdragons are spring or fall, and lilies are summer. We can pick any of those 3 seasons and put 1 kind outside and 1 in a greenhouse, making sure to use a glass roof. Build it with tall wall height, and you can also grow pomegranates in the greenhouse. They won't germinate with regular height walls. I don't know if medium work. So I select summer, put the snapdragons in a greenhouse, and keep the lilies outside. The primary cause of frustration for players is the spawn rate of rares when common plants are involved. Snapdragons are common, lilies are uncommon. They are both present on the plant when we're grafting for orchid, and thus will spawn much more commonly than the orchid. For a plant with 6 spawns, it comes out to about a 1% chance to get orchid. So how do we tip the scales in our favor that one of our snapdragon plants will yield an orchid? Volume, more chances every day at the magic hour of 5 a.m. Have a base of lilies you take cutting from and keep taking cutting from every 24 to 48 hours. You can do this both directions and make all your snapdragons and lilies into hybrids. Taking too many will kill them, but you can revive plant at level 10 gardening. At some points I did this on purpose. Expand your collection of spliced plants. Some of you will be very lucky, some of you very unlucky, but the only way to make sure that most players get it within a week is to have you expand out to about 20 or 25 spliced plants. This gives you like 120 chances of 1 spawning each day. About 3 days after I had reached 25 spliced plants, I got my orchid. Maybe it feels like a waste of effort, but I could have waited a sim's lifetime for them otherwise. You must be careful when using Supercell, but can hover over this interaction to see if any orchids are present in a large garden. Once we've got an orchid, we move on to winter using our weather machine. Thankfully, both orchid and pomegranate grow this time of year. Trouble is, orchids only spawn one produce, so we want to specifically take cutting from the orchid plant and put it on the pomegranate tree. This will give us a lot more rolls of the dice, so to speak. Thankfully, and perhaps mercifully, these are all rare, so you have an equal chance of a death flower, orchid, or pomegranate when you splice these three together. At this stage, it's just a matter of waiting and perhaps trying to catch an angelfish in the meantime. Once you have these two ingredients, you hopefully also have the 1500 satisfaction necessary to buy the Potion of Youth. You'll need to buy one every time you want to make Ambrosia, though any sim in your household can purchase it, you just have to share the potion. That is, transfer it to your chef's inventory, I think. Thankfully, sims do not seem to attempt to eat Ambrosia the moment it's created. Now for the whole point of this, resurrecting a ghost. In order to get a ghost to resurrect with Ambrosia, you must first ask them to move in. Befriending the ghost is a process like with any other friendship, just a bit of a waiting game with them spawning only occasionally. They should show up after midnight on some nights. Unfortunately, and somewhat annoyingly, I had to get romance into the mix to get my sim's friend to move back in. Even with 100 friendship, it took about 25 romance to invite the household. I'm not sure that it should be this way, but if you know why, maybe tell us in the comments. Once the ghost has moved in, I had to meet the Ambrosia and nothing happened on the first try. I discovered a cheat mod I was using conflicted with it. Lesson learned on that one, and certainly worth sharing. You may want to save your game before you cook Ambrosia just in case something like this happens to you if you use mods or custom content. When the sim has finished their Ambrosia, they should come right back to life and be at the beginning of their current life stage. Given the Potion of Youth's involvement in the Ambrosia recipe, it is useless for normal sims. If you want a sim to stay young, you need to stay on top of it. Ambrosia nor Potion of Youth will help you reverse aging on a sim. It simply puts them back to the beginning of the age group they belong to. That's it for our Ambrosia coverage. Subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of new content. We have a Patreon if you'd like to support this project. Thank you very much for watching.